the biggest entrepreneur platform on the planet. This is Business Rockstars. We are the biggest entrepreneur platform on the planet. Welcome to Business Rockstars. Joining me now, Jessie May Wolfe. She is the founder of HeartRise Movement. Thanks so much for being here.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
So we've met. I just love your energy, what you're all about. So it's so fun to be able to sit here with you and dive into your entrepreneurial journey. So let's start there. I know you've had many endeavors that I don't even know about. So tell me about them and really how it kind of led to HeartRise Movement.
Absolutely. As a young child, I was doing all kinds of projects, and, my dad was in the clothing industry, so I would get T-shirts and tie-dye and making jeans, and I just had this very kind of innovative entrepreneurial spirit. Fast forward, I studied many different modalities and different things in university, and I was very curious, and that led into from film into communication, and then I went into, essentially, I started my own clothing line. So with many chapters in between, I won't get into all the details, but I started my own clothing line, and that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it, and there was a creative side to it. There was a connective side to it, which I really loved. But I really found that the sort of rat race of the industry and that sort of like continuous cycle of turning things out and just nonstop, some of that vision and that creative vision got lost in translation. And so what I found was when I shifted gears, what I realized and when I reflected, and this journey has continued to show me, is when I realized all the aspects that I really loved so much about having had that clothing line, because on the outside, it looked like super successful. He had 400 stores and 6 showrooms and yada, yada. And it sounded fabulous. But on the inside, I was crying inside after, 6 years in. I'm giving you the abbreviated version.
Sure.
After having had other agencies, design agencies, marketing, a lot of experience that led to that. But by the end, I was just at this point in my life where I'd built this thing and I realized, this isn't really my heart and spirit. And I was just really, I felt forlorn. I felt like I'd built this big thing that was no longer really a reflection of what I had started with and that why, the heartbeat of who I was. And so that had been a guiding force for my whole journey. And what I came to realize is how much I loved inspiring others, working with creatives, working with entrepreneurs. That led into pursuing a coaching path, which in essence grew into consulting and speaking and workshops. And over the course of that journey, and that was a huge challenge to shift gears from having started a clothing line into coaching. But the coaching continued to guide and support me in realizing that it was very much about that connectivity, that inspiration, that working with others that I loved so much. And the more I did, the more HeartRise came into being, in essence. And it's a specific practice around listening to that inner vision, that heart vision. And it's really informed through many of my experiences working with others as a coach, with a lot of creatives, a lot of entrepreneurs, really consulting with companies and things along those lines, as well as studying so many modalities from Eastern traditions to the more Western approaches, and studying the science of the heart and really that being the epicenter. And that sort of brought me to HeartRise.
Can you talk a little bit about making the pivot? What was it like for you? Something to keep in mind?
Yeah. What I would say, and the key piece always, is listening to, you said it, that heart, that light within, and letting that lead. Because when that leads, it's fierce. And I call it the fuego, or the heart power. When that is leading, it's not to say that fear won't come up. It does and it can, but it's how do we move through that, and how do we allow for that guiding fierceness, that guiding power, that resonance that people respond to. By the way, the other piece that's so powerful is that things start to align. When we're in that aliveness, when we're leading with that light and that fuego, that conviction, we're unstoppable. It's only when all the doubt and the fears creep in that it can be dangerous, or that's where we tend to fall prey to what this one's doing or what that one's doing, or how should I, and all the fear and the doubt and how that can happen. And so for me, it was always making sure to return back to what lit me up, the why, the heartbeat of it, which is what led me to even start the clothing line in the first place. I wanted to inspire others through clothing and these lyrical, colorful collections. And as soon as that vision was lost in translation, I felt like I needed to shift back to the current, which was the why, which was my heartbeat, and listening to that and making sure that that informs whatever the creative entrepreneurial venture is. Because when that's in alignment, people come forth. You can inspire, you can create. It's amazing how much the universe responds to that kind of.
Sure. What does a typical week look like for you?
Well, it's always different. I mean, perfect example, this morning we just had a big workshop at Soho House, West Hollywood. We're here this afternoon. Tonight I've got a client session. It varies. It really changes. So some days are more active engagement, working with others, working with groups, working with teams. I bring in HeartRise to corporate teams. So we do workshops and Heartstorm sessions and creative sessions. I work with everyone from sales teams to marketing teams to, we'll do offsite team building. So I do some of that. So it varies. And then there's also creative development days and production days. So for example, I just finished my book. So this summer, there was more time spent dedicated to the book itself and the writing and the designing and the creative. And for myself as a creative and an entrepreneur, I need to give space to all of those parts and places within me so that I'm not too, I don't do well with too repetitive or too monotone. And it's not that I don't think routine is healthy, because I like routine in some ways, but giving myself the freedom to allow all forms to express through me.
And that's one of the beautiful things about entrepreneurship is you have the ability to look at what your needs and wants are in that season and shift accordingly. And sometimes I think entrepreneurs become entrepreneurs, but they still kind of have that employee mindset of I need to have this kind of rigid structure. And certainly if that helps you and what you want, great. But sometimes it's giving yourself permission to be like, you know what, I'm just going to take this season to write a book, right?
Right. And I love what you're saying too, because sometimes too, it can be slow and steady too. So it might mean 2 days out of 5, let's say, I'll give to creation and production or, ideas or whatever that may be, writing, blogging, brainstorming, heartstorming, as I like to call it, and 3 days dedicated specifically to active operational or outreach or whatever that may look like for your particular needs. But it is true that shift from the traditional 9 to 5 mode to complete freedom can be very disorienting. But I always encourage sort of beginning with creating, even if it's a 2-hour, 3-hour little block, to give yourself some space to see what wants to emerge. Because there's a lot of magic in there. There's a lot of real infinite wisdom that comes forth in that space if we give ourselves. And ideas as entrepreneurs, I mean, we're creative forces. And so when we give ourselves the space for that, it's amazing.
Great advice. Well, we're going to talk about building your business when we come back. Sit tight. We are the biggest entrepreneur platform on the planet. This is Business Rockstars.
We bought a beat-up postal van masquerading as an ice cream truck off Craigslist. We figured out that if we joined AAA Platinum, we got one free 200-mile tow. So we towed it to Coachella, which is our first event ever. And the rest is history.
Now, Office Land.
The space, it's got a good flow to it. It's good to walk around. There's a lot of different nuances to it, whether it's the architecture of it or the angles of it, the music going around, the people in it. We get a lot of just, your brand is amazing. The products that you have, make me smile.
I started this summer. I'm a newbie. I'm the newest member of the COOLHAUS family. It's really fun. It's very much like a bohemian kind of workplace. So meeting her for the first time, she probably doesn't remember it. I was at one of her speaking engagements. I introduced myself to her, and she thought maybe I had a business, and she got excited. She's like, oh, what's your business? And I didn't have one, and so the conversation ended really quickly after that.
And the back wall was supposed to kind of look like an 80s Hawaiian sunset. And we have a lot of our merch. We have our weird and wacky shirts and merch. So this is our headquarters. We love being in this space, big open ceilings and lots of cool house stuff going on around us. This is my office here. I like to keep things pretty minimal and clean. You can see we love like fun, big letters.
I really like the Eat Me sign. It's in our conference room.
Came up with this totally wacky idea on the verge of people getting laid off, and then here we are, millions knowing COOLHAUS, who love it and think it's exciting and are willing to accept the weird architectural alignment with ice cream. Like, how cool is that? It's a dream come true.
My favorite flavor, I really like the blue Hawaiian. It has candied pineapple and blue curacao.
There's a salted chocolate that is incredible, but the chocolate molten, anything chocolate-based, I'm in.
And then we always have some boozy flavors like the Dad's Secret Stash, which is M&M's, marshmallows, smoked salt, and scotch.
We are the biggest entrepreneur platform on the planet. Welcome back to Business Rockstars. I am continuing my conversation with the founder of the HeartRise Movement. So you touched on it a little bit earlier for how you got into this entrepreneurial endeavor, but really what's the idea and the inspiration behind HeartRise Movement?
Yes, I love that. Thank you for asking. Well, HeartRise, so RISE stands for, it's an acronym for Radiant Integral Soul Energy. So it's like plugging into the power, quite literally, of your heart. And what I found in my journey as an entrepreneur, as a creative, as someone who was always curious and connecting with many people and traveling the world and living abroad and having different companies and consulting, was this connectivity, this real fluid current that exists amongst all of us, beyond boundaries, beyond corporate environments, in all different ways. There is a synergy that connects us. And so HeartRise, I found that the heart was really a very powerful way to plug into that. And so working even as a coach for the years that I have, and essentially I still do, but now I do it in a bigger scale with bigger communities and companies, was that how do we bring it back to that energetic wisdom, which is really what the HeartRise practice is about. It's plugging into that energy source, that power source. And with that, you can guide, you can lead, you can cooperate, you can collaborate, you can create. And it's a simple, very modern method. It's 4 simple steps, so it's really easy to practice. You can do it on the fly if something triggers you, or if you're going in for a big presentation, or you want to have a big, I like to call them heart storm sessions, these creative sessions where you're, really visioning into something. So it can really support you in a practical way.
Is it something where you could share the 4 steps
Yes.
in a nutshell?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
what
yes.
are those 4 steps
So
in a nutshell?
the 4 super simple steps are, the first one is with heart vision, I see. So you're witnessing what's there. So whether it's something you're calling in or it's something you're releasing or wanting to get rid of a block or a fear, you're witnessing. So the first step is with heart vision, I see. You're becoming energetically aware through the heart. I'm simplifying. The second step is with heart focus, I feel. So we're actually letting the feelings breathe rather than containing and contracting them, because one of the reasons fear and all of that becomes so prevalent is because we're holding so much inside. So it's that contracted energy. When we feel through, we heal through. So you move the energy and then it doesn't have its hold on us. So as entrepreneurs, as powerhouses, you want to let that energy move. So just by feeling it, you don't need to analyze it and overthink it and get doubtful about it and dubious and stressed out and anxious. You just feel it. So second step is feeling. With heart focus, I feel. Third step with heart knowing, which is strengthening the heart, I free. So that's where, as an entrepreneur, that leap that we're often presented, that fork in the road or that big decision or that big courageous move you have to make, by freeing, by letting the heart's energy go and opening it, you actually learn to move with the 4th step, which is with heart wisdom, I flow. And that's when you start to connect with this energy that literally is the energy that connects us. Everything is energy. So you're guided, you feel it. You meet someone new, they're putting out vibes. It's a good intuitive hit. You get that energetic read. We don't realize it because we're so busy judging and in our heads, but you walk into a space, you feel energy. We are constantly attuning to vibes and energy. And as entrepreneurs, it's our best guiding wisdom. But most of us are busy head tripping. So when you instead are aligned with that energy, so it's see, feel, free, flow.
Okay, and then High on Heart is your book.
Yes.
Tell me about this.
Really there to support the practice. So it's meant to be practical and playful and inspiring. And people have been asking for a long time. So it's finally the method in a book, but very simply put. So it's not uber complicated. You can just pick it up and read it in one go or pick it up as you need it.
Lastly, how do you hope to disrupt the status quo in business and beyond?
Well, I'm doing it, girl.
Yeah.
Bringing more heart to the mix. I mean, living and leading heartfully. I really believe that emotional intelligence, as we're catching wind, that's sort of the trendy way to say it. And it's legit. It's learning to strengthen the wisdom of our heart is everything as far as I'm concerned. We're so caught up with sort of academia and I'm not dismissing anything about academic intelligence. It's brilliant, and we're the mind
has its place.
So important, and as service, as being of service to the heart's wisdom. So that's what I've really come to understand. It's just how do we learn to lead instead with an intuitive knowing, and letting that lead. So in the workplace, and again, I bring this to big companies, it's just how can we build, because if you have teams that work together and teams that are inspired by each other, we can change the world, legitimately, and I see it happening. So it's really integrating that heartful piece in ways that move people, like individuals, treating them well, supporting them, feeling that connectivity. And then once you build that with, starting small and growing it in that way, because I often see companies that grow too quickly and they lose the initial heartbeat of what got them going. And it's really making sure to tend to the people as you grow, keeping that connective spirit, and then empowering people to activate and honor their gifts in their light and supporting them, seeing them, shining that light back, saying, I see you and I really appreciate you. Because so often we're undervalued.
I love it. Thank you for sharing your heart wisdom with us today.
Pleasure.
I know that you will have touched many entrepreneurs watching and listening.
My pleasure.
So
thank you.
We are the biggest entrepreneur platform on the planet. This is Business Rockstars. After this short break, more Business Rockstars. Next up, Entrepreneur Elevator Pitch, a new segment where entrepreneurs like you get 60 seconds to pitch your new company idea to a team of established investors. Do you have the next billion-dollar idea?
Entrepreneur is challenging America to a 60-second elevator ride to pitch the next billion-dollar idea to our board of successful investors.
Would like to know how much revenue she has before I shut off an opportunity.
You can't deny the marketplace.
They're just so mediocre, and you pay money for it.
I think there's huge upside.
If their pitch is successful,
let's open the doors.
Let's do it.
Welcome to the boardroom.
Welcome.
But if their pitch fails,
I think the presentation sucks.
Bring it down.
Going down.
The board has 5 minutes to make a deal, and you, the viewer, can support your favorite entrepreneur through crowdfunding. This is Entrepreneur Elevator Pitch.
Going up.
Time to empower another entrepreneur.
That sounds great. We're ready.
Your 60 seconds begins now. Going up.
Hey there, I'm Ben, and this is the Z-Board, the world's first and only hands-free electric skateboard. To ride it, you simply lean forward to go and lean back to stop. Every Z-Board is equipped with our patented weight-sensing foot pads, an automotive-grade lithium-ion battery, and a 1,000-watt motor that has the power to take you uphill at 20 miles per hour and over 20 miles per charge, making the Z-Board the perfect way to get around on your short trips. Now, we started the Z-Board as mechanical engineers back in college, simply looking for a better way to get to class. But since then, we've sold over $4 million worth of Z-Boards to customers all over the world. But we're just getting started. With your help, we'll be able to put Z-Boards on every high school campus, and every college campus, in every city in the country, and then the world. The only question left is, who's ready to open these doors and ride?
$4 million in sales got my attention.
Yeah, me too. I definitely want to hear more.
You gotta open the doors.
Yeah, let's open the doors.
Welcome to the boardroom.
All right.
Wow, that's quite an entrance.
Around us. Very cool.
Hi there.
Welcome to the boardroom.
How do you control the speed?
Thanks for having me. We control the speed through these patented foot pads. Harder you press, the faster you go. 8 years ago, it became a garage passion. Put it on crowdfunding. It was very, very successful. Started doing it full time, and now we've shipped over 4,000 boards to 60 plus countries.
So what's the retail price?
So right now, this board on the table retails for $12.99. We also have a more premium SKU that goes for $14.99.
What is the cost of goods?
We build it for around $400.
So you have a good margin.
We do have very strong
Very good
margins
margin.
on this board.
So what percentage of the company are you willing to give us?
$300K we're offering for 10% of the business.
Why are you not self-funding?
We've self-funded to date. It's a very capital-intensive business. We've done all of this today, so $4 million in sales in less than $100K of outside capital. We did raise a friends and family round.
Okay, so what does the $300,000 get you? Because that seems like a really small amount of money.
That's kind of what we need in kind of free cash to fund the marketing and fund the cash flow for our premium line. This board is very, very successful, but it's a capital-intensive business. We're constantly running out of units. We're constantly not able to market as much as we'd like. We're constantly inventory rich, cash poor,
Yep.
Cash rich, inventory poor. We feel that once that 300K seed round is done, the value of our company goes up by 5x, and we can develop a mass market product at a lower price.
Where I'm having difficulty at this point, and I'd love to see an Indiegogo campaign at a more competitive space.
So quick question.
Yep.
What do you think crowdfunding campaign for this board could do?
Yeah, so I think you can easily get your 300,000, and I'd offer some cool branded Z board items. Just an example, right? 5,000 gives you a signed board by Tony Hawk, or get an influencer and endorser on it.
So I think you guys are underestimating the potential by about 100x. Because this board, at $1,300, we did $900,000 on Indiegogo without the help of any of those people. And so the reason that a $300,000 project doesn't really get us anywhere is because we need $300,000 in free cash.
But if you sell for $5,000 with a signature on it, it will give you free cash.
With the proper launch, this is going to do $300,000 in the first hour.
So you don't need us.
I absolutely need you. But what I said with a proper launch, to me, there's a difference between a proper launch where we blow it out on all of your favorite social influencers' accounts and they can buy it now and get a tracking number tonight. There's a major difference between that and what we've already done successful 3 times, which is crowdfunding, where you put your money in early, you have to pay over $1,000, you have to wait. So maybe we just see it differently.
I really like the product.
I do too.
And you know, I'd love to be involved. I don't know if we have consensus here, if this is the type of investment that we want to make.
I look at this saying, okay, 10% for my immediate mass consumer goods and retail, like it's too high of a price point right now for the electronic retailing, even for infomercial.
For me, personally, I'm not in this space. I don't think it would be in my best interest to invest in it right now.
I love that you know your business. I think that's fantastic. I love that you actually stand and defend your business. That's one of the first things I look for in an entrepreneur. Fight me. Tell me you're right. Because you don't have that, you can't take on the rest of it. So come back objectively and say, really, who is the right partner? It's not about money, it's securing the right money.
Yes.
Who already can say, you know what, I'm gonna pick up the phone and call these 3 people, and it's a game changer in your business, right? And you have a great product. You've got a great case. You're in front of the wrong people.
What if I incentivize you to help me find the right people?
How would you do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have built this business for 7 years. We still each retain 50%. So we'd be interested in advisory roles for vested equity pieces.
I'd be interested in talking afterwards.
Yeah, I would as well.
All right, thank you very much.
I look forward to hearing from you.
Have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Thank
Let's
you for
stay in
having
touch.
me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
You were
Have a
great.
good rest of your day. They didn't end up investing, but I think we're going to continue a dialogue after the show. I think that they didn't see themselves as the right partners, but hopefully they can connect us to the right partners.
To support this entrepreneur, go to entrepreneur.com/elevator pitch.
How do you start a networking conversation? I'm Alex Worley with the Business Rockstars Minute. Networking at conferences can be a very frightening task, especially if you tend to be introverted. Sometimes it's tough to get that initial conversation going with a total stranger. So how do you get better at networking on the spot? One tip is to get to know somebody better, but how do you do that? The following are a few lines that can help start a conversation. Number 1, what do you like best about your job? Number 2, what events or sessions do you plan on attending? Number 3, hey, what have you learned so far? Number 4, what do you wish was different about your industry? These conversation starters are designed to elicit more than just a one-word answer. Hopefully these tips will lead to meaningful conversation and connection. I'm Alex Worley, and this has been a Business Rockstars Minute. We are the biggest entrepreneur platform on the planet. This is Business Rockstars. Do you have the next billion-dollar idea, and can you pitch it in 60 seconds? Let's see what ideas are being pitched now on Entrepreneur Elevator Pitch.
All right, let's bring it on.
Ready.
Your 60 seconds begins now. Going up.
Who do we trust, and how can we trust them? We ask ourselves this every time we're hiring, housing, lending to, borrowing from, or buying something from someone online. Romance scams and confidence fraud are now the #1 source of cybercrime in the US, followed closely by non-payment and non-delivery of goods or services purchased online. Companies like Craigslist and Match.com are protected under federal law from misinformation and misbehavior by bad people on their platforms. And until now, it's been too cost prohibitive for startups or smaller companies to offer a socially responsible alternative. With national criminal background checks costing on average $25 or more, we could offer the exact same check for $1 and still turn a profit. If you believe in social responsibility online as much as I do, I suggest you invest in authenticating.com.
How can you get a background check for $1? I don't understand.
Well, yeah, that's
well, you get what you pay for.
That's the curiosity here.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
Background checks have always been $25 a piece. Clearly, there's a great business that no one has ever challenged. So I like the idea that we have somebody in here challenging convention, but it's a stretch to figure out how you could accomplish that for $1 and still make money.
Yeah, my gut's telling me no.
Mine is as well.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
All right, we'll set him down.
Going down.
Oh, God! I thought I nailed it. I said everything I wanted to say. I thought, why wouldn't they want to hear more? Apparently, it wasn't good enough.
All right, here she is.
Your 60 seconds begins now. Going up.
Hi everyone, my name is Lauren Sturdivant and I'm the CEO and founder of Case Status. I'm also a lawyer and I've been practicing law for 7 years. In every area of law I've ever practiced, there's been one major pain point, and that is clients are constantly calling asking for updates on their case. When attorneys are talking to clients, they're not resolving cases. On the other hand, when the client doesn't hear from their attorney, they feel like their attorney isn't working on their case and that their attorney doesn't care. Case Status solves this problem. Case Status is an app that allows the client to log on and see what's going on in their case in real time. It also allows the attorney to update the client with a click of a button. Case Status will save approximately 6 to 8 hours a week for every lawyer that uses it, while at the same time creating a more meaningful, stronger relationship with the client. We are set to launch August 14th and are asking for $250,000 for a 5% equity stake. Case Status is going to revolutionize the way attorneys practice law across the world. We hope you join our mission to solve some cases.
5% divided by 4?
Here's the problem. She's working against herself. Lawyers want to bill that time.
Yeah.
Part of the problem in practicing law is that communication, the effective communication of, you're going to create so many questions. Well, what is this? What is that? It would
You're
take you
still going to end up spending the time on it anyway.
And it's going to confuse them even worse because they're going to presume something
They're going to read something and they don't understand. They're going to call you and say, what does that mean?
Right.
Down.
Down.
Going down.
You know, I'm really excited about it, but sometimes people are going to say no, and that's okay.
Here we go.
Your 60 seconds begins now. Going up.
Hello, investors. My name is Alex Shadro, and I am the founder of Uniteeks, where millennial girls buy and sell fashion from their own closets. After my terrifying transaction with a Craigslist creep, I searched everywhere for the easiest solution to turn my closet into cash. Nothing worked. So I created Uniteeks and incentivized brand ambassadors to grow our thriving community of millennial members. Now we're in 600 cities and have generated nearly $250,000 in sales organically. Most importantly, Uniteeks works. We're using cutting-edge machine learning to sell 5 times more inventory than the leading competitor. Our proprietary technology correlates millions of items and presents customers with exactly what they want to buy. With your investment, we will license this tech. My elevator pitch might be over, but my ride to the top has just begun. Thank you.
1.
That's awesome.
But she didn't tell us how much.
Yeah.
What the percentage.
I want to hear
Right.
it.
Yeah. I think we let her in.
All right, let's open the doors.
Let's open the doors.
Welcome to the boardroom.
Boom! Hello.
Welcome.
Welcome to the boardroom.
Thank you for having me.
It's a very good pitch.
Tell us about your business model.
There are 3 ways that we make money. We're making money off of our member-to-member sales. We actually don't charge commission, which is really cool. So it's completely free. However, we do have an upcharge. So whatever the seller lists the item for on the website, we're free to then bump it up to pretty much anything we want, but they always make 100% of what they asked for. And then we're making money off of brand sales by selling brand accounts for $50 per month.
Explain a little bit more about that.
Our marketplace is for millennials, and there are many retail brands that are targeting that demographic, but there's no direct way to reach them. We provide that platform of millennial buyers, and we can tell them so much information about these buyers. So they pay us to list their items alongside the members' items. But the main way that's going to be, the leader of making money for the next 5 years is our data. We have a proprietary algorithm that we use to actually sort through millions of items. For example, size extra small, most likely to buy the color yellow. Interesting buyer behavior that we never knew existed. So by providing this information to retailers, we are able to help them increase their cart value, their checkout value, and we plan to license this API and this software.
We would love to know what you're looking for and what percentage of your company you're willing to give for that as well.
So I am raising around $450,000 in exchange for 15%.
So where's all that money going to?
Right now we're developing a mobile app and working on our API to license it. I think the best thing for an investor is the fact that the data sales are purely just right back into the company, right? So once they're developed, there's no money like really having to be spent over and over again. So we're only looking to do maybe one more round in the next 5 years. Our investors that are coming in are not going to be diluted.
But that's naive. I will tell you, that's the way people lose their business. And I think one of the things we could really help you with is to protect you.
I definitely want to work with people like such as yourselves. It's an honor, you know, and I can learn so much. I'm definitely someone that takes it in and goes running with it.
Yeah.
All right, so we're running out of time.
I think we'd need to get somewhere near 100,000 for 10%.
I'm fine with that.
I'm fine with that too.
If we could do 100,000 for 10%, I think you could get us to come in.
And I'll mentor you.
I do value all of the, things that come with this investment beyond money quite a bit. I came here to get a deal. I didn't come here to walk away from a deal with you.
Right.
So, deal.
All right.
I'm happy to do it.
All right.
All right, awesome. Thank
Yeah.
you so
Yeah,
much.
sure.
It means
Absolutely.
the world to me.
To support this entrepreneur, go to entrepreneur.com/elevator pitch.
The deal that I got today is the deal that I wanted, so I'm really happy and I'm not trying to change anything. This is the best outcome that I could have had.
Next on Entrepreneur Elevator Pitch.
You've never been in business with a guy like me.
This is our me bid. I'd put them out of their misery and let's send them down.
I won't do it.
More Business Rock Stars when we return. We are the biggest entrepreneur platform on the planet. Welcome to Business Rock Stars. I've got a major rock star for you today, the president and COO of TruFusion, Jonathan Fornaci. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks. Welcome.
So I'm so excited about TruFusion as a fitness junkie myself. Why don't you share with everyone what the concept is?
Yeah, so TruFusion is group fitness. We basically have 65 different types of classes all under one roof. So today you feel like doing yoga, wonderful. Time to take a yoga class. Tomorrow you want to do a bar class or you want to do a boxing class or spin. Everything's together. So the best part is you're not having to go all over town to do different types of workouts. You get it all there. And the best part, my favorite part, it's heated. So most of the classes are heated to 103 degrees. So not only do you have a great workout, you sweat a ton.
Oh, yeah. So how did you guys come up with that idea to have all the classes be heated? Just to increase the productivity of the workout?
Well, there's actually a lot of research done on working out in heated classes. One, surprisingly, it lowers your core body temperature. You have a lot less injuries because you're automatically, your body's a lot more looser. You don't have the same injuries that you would have. You don't tend to cramp up and stuff. So it's a great workout. You have a lot less injuries, and it helps you burn calories.
Cool. So tell me a little bit about your background, because I know that you've helped expand a couple other franchises, and in general, you're a franchise expert. So how did you get to this point, to being the president of TruFusion?
So my background, actually, I got a degree in physics from Berkeley, which has absolutely nothing to do with franchising, but it allows you to take a look at a different approach and how do you solve a problem and look at it differently, right? So when I got into the franchising business, I looked at it and go, franchising really incorporates the American dream. Because you get the opportunity to, and these are individual franchisees, to basically follow your passion, own your own business, and be able to grow and expand with, this is the key thing about franchising, having a company behind you providing you all the support. And so the other brands I built in TruFusion, we built an entire team to support you. From the day that you buy a franchise from us, we provide you help from finding the real estate, negotiating the terms of the lease, construction. How many people have ever built a building, much less a gym or a restaurant? We provide the entire support to help you get that going, to marketing, all the way around to the day that you open. We send an entire team to your studio, making sure that you are successful. And that's wonderful. So you get to follow your dream and be your own owner, be an entrepreneur, and we provide you the support to do it.
That's amazing. So tell me a little bit about the founders and their story and the inspiration behind starting TruFusion.
Yeah, so the founders was founded by two individuals, Martin Hinton and Mike Borden. So Mike Borden is very well known in the technology space. He was the co-founder of Switch, which is one of the largest data center systems in the entire world. And Martin grew up in Texas and had this vision of fitness. And he was one of the first people in the country to basically combine yoga and fitness together. So if you take any one of our classes, you can take one of our boxing classes, one of our Pilates classes, and every class has an essence of yoga. You'll go through a flow, you'll go through a vinyasa in the actual class. And the important thing is that you want to take a class that is great, is really hard, but also has a spiritual aspect to it. And I think that's one nice thing about yoga. Whether what you believe or don't, you take a yoga class, at the end of it, you have this amazing feeling when you're done. It's the same thing with taking our classes. You feel amazing when you're done.
So there are lots of different business models, and being a franchisee would be one of them. How does a person know if they're cut out for being a franchisee? You know, what are some of the pros and cons, maybe?
I think the biggest one is if you know deep in your heart that you're an entrepreneur, you want to own your own business, you want to be able to grow, then that's part one to be a franchisee. Number two is, hey, listen, I want to be able to do this without the risk. When I was in the restaurant business, 80% of the restaurants fail in the first 18 months. Okay, that's a huge risk because you're putting a lot of money into building that restaurant and everything else like that. But when you buy into a franchise, you have complete support of a company behind you that's done it, that's proven it's successful. It's the same thing here, right? If you know that you want to be in a business where you're making 30, 40% income, net income, and have the support so that you're like, oh my gosh, what am I supposed to do here? You know that you've got a team there backing you up.
Speaking of team, we're going to talk more about building a team since it's such an important aspect, but we're going to take a quick break right now. So sit tight. We are the biggest entrepreneur platform on the planet. This is Business Rockstars. Now, Tech It.
Jessica Naziri here with Business Rockstars. Whoever said the journey is more important than the destination might have never missed a flight. Traveling can be stressful enough, especially since being away from home keeps you out of your routine. Tech can take some of that stress away. Even when you're on the road, these gadgets help you take a little piece of home with you. Fitness doesn't take a vacation, even if you do. Bionic Gym makes it possible to burn calories while you're relaxing in your hotel room, watching TV, or even sitting poolside. All you need is a small control center, Bionic Gym strap, and your smartphone to get started on working off those hotel pillow chocolates. With Bionic Gym, you can do the equivalent of running a marathon from the comfort of your hotel room. And it's backed by science. Even the founder is a medical doctor. Whether you're traveling for business or pleasure, you should be able to start off your day with the perfect cup of joe, and sometimes the coffee maker in your hotel room just doesn't do the job. Ember makes sure you don't have to worry about drinking your coffee in one gulp before it gets cold. Ember's high-tech coffee cup keeps your drink at the perfect temp all day. Just adjust your mug's temperature to keep your drink tasting just exactly how you want it all day long. Winding down after a long day of meetings or sightseeing goes beyond just sneaking in a cardio workout. Touchpoint Solution uses neuroscience to keep you calm and collected even when you're out of your element. Touchpoints are non-invasive wearables that use neuroscience to relieve stress. Touchpoints can improve sleep, performance, and focus, and even reduce cravings and anger. Hey, listen up, the guy next to you. This scientifically proven technology can keep you relaxed and rejuvenated from wheels up to coming home. Now that you have less things to worry about at the destination, you can kick back, relax, and enjoy the journey.
We are the biggest entrepreneur platform on the planet. Welcome back to Business Rockstars, where we are continuing our conversation with the president and COO of TruFusion. So we were talking about how crucial a team is, which every entrepreneur says, but especially in the franchise business. So what do you think makes a great team?
Well, for me, and I spent my entire career looking at how do you build the right team and keep the people motivated. And so, you always hear people say, oh, hire really smart people. Well, yeah, obviously, duh. You want to hire really smart people. But to me, what I've always done is I've hired the best people for the job. I've given them 100% authority and 100% accountability. So, there's nothing worse than you're trying to run something or do something and you constantly have to ask for permission. Well, if I have to ask for permission, then you haven't given me all the authority. So what I do is I bring the teams in, I set the vision for the company, and then I let the teams execute. And I'm like, I hate micromanaging. I always tell my team, if I have to micromanage you, it's time for you to start looking for a job. Because if I'm doing your job, then I might as well just take your pay. But, you find the right people and you bring them in and give them that type of authority and you let them run. And really bright people hate to be micromanaged. So you give them that opportunity to succeed and they do an amazing job for you.
And speaking of your team, you just got a new team member, Alex Rodriguez. No big deal. Very cool. So tell me how that came about.
So, it was great to welcome Alex on board. I mean, he's an amazing businessman. Obviously, we know, he's probably one of the top 3 or 5 baseball players of all time. But he has just an amazing insight for business. And he saw TruFusion. He was in visiting Vegas with his girlfriend, Jennifer. And
Jennifer Lopez,
Jennifer
in case
Lopez.
you don't keep up with pop culture.
And their whole team around them had already been coming to TruFusion and taking classes. So Alex came and started taking classes, and he just fell in love with the classes. And he didn't know anything about the business other than the fact he came in and he was like, wow, these classes, they're killing me. They're great. He's powering through every one of these classes. He does yoga one day. He was coming and doing doubles. And just to give you a sense, when you're in a class and you're burning 1,000 calories in an hour, and then you turn around and get done with that class and you go to another class, that tells you the type of individual and the mental fortitude that this guy has. So he do this. So he just fell in love. And I remember after talking to him, he went back to his place in Miami and he's like, you know what? I can't get a workout like this. There's nothing like this. There's no camaraderie. There's no team that I've got. He goes, yeah, playing baseball was wonderful because I had a team around me. But from the workout, nothing like this in Miami. So every time he came back to Vegas, he would take these classes and fell in love. And he got more and more involved, wanted to find out about the business. And he was so excited about the business. When he learned the numbers, he bought the entire development rights for Florida. So not only is he an avid workout individual, loves the fitness business, now he owns the rights to 20 TruFusions in Florida.
So cool. Yeah, every business would love to have a huge celebrity or influencer attached to their name, but it goes to show that the best way to attract those types of people is just to have an amazing product and have it be a very, very organic fit. Because in this case, Alex just fell in love with the classes at TruFusion. That's so cool. It's very, very cool.
Yeah, he just loved the environment. And it doesn't matter what your business is. You're always going to find people that are just passionate about your business, right? If you got something great, and then word of mouth. There is nothing better than word of mouth. You can do all the advertising you want in the world, but having somebody say, I love this class, I have to come back. I have to come back to this class, or I have to come back to this restaurant. Then we all know that. There's these places that you fall in love with, and you want to be that person that tells everybody else about it. And the members of TruFusion are those. Those are the trendsetters. They come in, they're like, oh, I found out about TruFusion. I'm telling all my friends about it because it's such a cool environment.
Well, that's how Jennifer Lopez found out about it, right? Was word of mouth?
Word of mouth. All of her dancers, they would come in, they'd come into Vegas, and it's insane how much these people have to train and work out. And they're going 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day. And when they're done, they want something to refresh them. So they'd come to a yoga class, they'd come to a Pilates or a bar class. I'll tell you, for anybody that hasn't done a bar class, do a bar class.
They're so fun.
Will kill you.
Great for toning.
Oh, yeah, and painful.
Yeah. So we talked about word of mouth and how priceless that is, but I'm sure that you guys have a lot of advertising dollars as well. So tell me a little bit about your marketing strategy.
So we're actually one of the unique franchise systems. A lot of franchise systems will charge you, the franchisee, 4, 5, 6% of your gross revenue for marketing. We take a focus and we charge 1%. That's it. Because what happens in the membership business, since we have such great word of mouth, you'll get to max capacity of your studios pretty quickly. So at that point in time, if you're paying 5% for marketing, you'd be very unhappy and you'd be coming back at me going, okay, where's the money going? Well, it's probably going to another state, not yours. So we do very little bit of advertising, and comes down to a lot of digital. And people are just so passionate. Those trendsetters are the ones doing it. You'd be shocked at how many people are in classes and they're doing Facebook Live and they're Instagramming and they're tweeting the classes because they're like, these are so much fun. Plus, have you ever seen a millennial walk around without their cell phone going?
Nope. As one myself, I can tell you, I take my cell phone everywhere. Yeah. Very cool. Well, I'm so excited for TruFusion to come to Southern California. It's right up my alley. Can't wait to check it out. And thank you so much for stopping by and sharing all of your insights into the franchise business. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
We are the biggest entrepreneur platform on the planet. This is Business Rockstars. Thanks for sharing the time with us, and we'll see you next time on Business Rockstars.